Hey guys, what's going on? This is Travis P11. I'd like to welcome you back to the channel. And today we're going to do a little field strip and cleaning of the CZ SP01 Tactical. Now if you have the non-tactical model, that's fine, it doesn't matter. The takedown and cleaning is going to be virtually the same procedure. When you clean a pistol like this, it doesn't take a whole lot of supplies to do so, but it takes a few things. So let's talk about what you're going to need. First and foremost, you're going to need some sort of a lubricant protectant to put on the firearm, a cleaner. Something easy you can use, something simple to find at most of your mom and pop gun stores or sporting goods stores is Safariland Break-Free CLP. The CLP stands for Clean Lubricant Preservative. This is a great one that you can use on it. Thin coat will protect the gun for a very long time. Personally, I'm a fan of Cleanse Oil, cleanseoil.com. I'm not sponsored by them, but this stuff does work great. Smells good too. And I do find that it does a great job cleaning the firearm. You can use an old toothbrush if you want to, or you can pick up a cleaning brush in the cleaning supply section of your gun store. And these work great to remove any buildup that you might have on any of the parts. Basically, if something doesn't wipe clean after a couple tries, you can just scrub it off and it will come clean. I've also got some Q-tips in this little ammo box right here, some cotton swabs. Those are nice to have too for some fine detail work. For actual wiping and scrubbing, I like to use these pre-cut Allen cotton patches. You can buy these up at the sporting goods store, Walmart, mom and pop gun store, and so on. Or if you want, you can also cut up an old cotton t-shirt into squares if you want to. And that's a more economical way to do so. Now, to clean out the barrel, you got a couple different options. You might have a cleaning rod with like a bristle on the end that you're going to run through the barrel and clean. You can do that if you want to. Otherwise, I like to use a bore snake. Now, there's different brands you can buy. Like here's the Real Avid Bore Boss. These cost about 10 bucks. You want to get one that's labeled for 9mm and or 380. It'll work fine in your barrel. Otherwise, this one is from Hoppe's. I've had this one for quite a while, and this one works really good. This is a Hoppe's. Fits for the 380, 9mm, 38, and 357 caliber. Hoppe's 9 bore snake. These work good too. Now, again, some people don't like to use these. I find they do a pretty good job, especially if you keep up on the cleaning of the gun and you don't put a ton of rounds down range. Now, I also do recommend that you put on some rubber gloves or nitrile gloves while we're doing the cleaning, mainly because you're going to be exposing yourself to some carbon, some lead. Okay, so first things first, let's go ahead and ensure that the firearm is in fact unloaded, and then we'll get those magazines clean. So go ahead and press your magazine release button right here. Okay, you should be able to see the all black follower with no ammo. The other magazine is empty too. Go ahead and grab the slide and pull back. Chamber's nice and empty. Check down the magazine well. Chamber's empty. Okay, we'll go ahead and set that off to the side. With just a drop of oil on a patch, go ahead and wipe off your magazines. Hey, I do want to apologize, guys. I'm going through some allergy stuff right now, so throat is a little bit scratchy. So I do apologize if I don't sound like I normally do. Try to get my voice back to 100% here soon. So without getting the magazines excessively oiled, just go ahead and wipe them off. It'll take off any fingerprints. You know, they're metal, so they can rust over time and they can pit out if you don't clean them. I like to wipe off the tops too. Again, just a drop of oil is more than adequate to keep them well preserved. And just go ahead and set those off to the side. As you can see, they were just a little bit dirty. Now, if you've got the safety model, if you've got the non-tactical SP01, what you want to do is go ahead and just lower the hammer, pull the trigger, and then pull the hammer back to half cock for the next step, okay? Now, if you've got the tactical model, this is the state that you're probably in from where we just left off. Go ahead and press your decocking lever so that the hammer goes down to half cock, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so here in the back, you've got a little hash mark right here and right here. And what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to pull those two marks together, and while you're holding the gun, keeping those two marks aligned, you're gonna have to press on this little dot right here. That's gonna cause your slide stop / slide release to pop out. Okay, so it's a little complicated. It's a little hard to show it on camera. I usually kind of grasp the gun, kind of pull back a little bit and squeeze it really hard. Right about there. Okay, I've got it aligned. And then on the back here, this is gonna be really tight. So they do recommend using a magazine to press up against the side to get that to pop out. So I'm gonna do that real quick here. So all I did was just press on that little dot, and now you can see the slide release is starting to come out of the side right here. So go ahead and pull that out. It's tight because it's all metal. And go ahead and pull on the slide, and your slide and your frame are gonna separate. Set everything down, and then we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with the frame and some of the components. Go ahead and take, with an oiled up patch, go ahead and just wipe off your slide stop / slide release. Okay, just go and give it a nice coat of oil. You can hit this with a dry patch if you want to take off any excess. You know, a lot of times people make comments on my videos. They're like, oh my God, your guns are so oily when you get done. And I always say in these videos, well, you know, you can wipe it off with a dry patch if you want to, because you just need a real thin coating of oil on these parts to protect them. So you don't have to have something that's just absolutely just coated, okay? So that looks pretty good for the takedown pin. I'm going to set that off to the side. For the frame, just go ahead and wipe out the inside of the frame. Now I have not cleaned this before, and this gun's had about 100 rounds put through it in our last range test. So real easy to get into. There's a lot of space here. It's a nice full-size frame. Just go ahead and wipe it out for starters, and then we'll talk about what to do about the magazine well and so on. Okay, you can pull the hammer back all the way if you want to, and it can hurt nothing. You want to do this a couple times until these patches start to come clean, and then at that point you know that you've reached the level where the gun is sufficiently clean, so go ahead and keep wiping it out. Okay, now, a major component of these CZ firearms, especially this 75 platform, you've got a channel that goes the inside of the frame on both sides. Take a Q-tip and go ahead and just, with the drop of oil on it, and wipe out that channel all the way to the rear, okay? Hit the other side. Okay, just go down it. Again, this is just totally tearing up my Q-tip here. Okay, one more drop of oil. There we go. Go down that channel. This is a major contact wear point for the firearm, so you want to make sure that this has an adequate amount of lubrication on it. There we go. Wipe that out. Now with this Q-tip, just go ahead and do a little bit of fine detail work. Just wipe underneath, over, around, anywhere that you possibly can. Just make sure that everything just has a general coating of oil on it, and you're going to be in good shape. Okay, it doesn't take a lot. A little bit goes a long ways. There we go. All right, now, if you have a single piece cleaning rod, or if your gun came with a cleaning rod, go ahead and put a couple drops of oil on a patch and go ahead and scrub out the magazine well. I know this seems kind of crazy, but you'll be surprised with the dust and the debris and the dirt that gets built up in this particular portion of the gun that a lot of people don't ever clean. You can also start to get some rusting in there if you're not careful, especially if you operate in a high humidity environment. Okay, let's take it out. There you go. So it did come out just a little bit dirty. All right, now what you want to do is take a dry patch and just run that in the magazine well only, and make sure that you keep the dry patch away from the action parts of the gun. Okay, so just about 3/4 of the way up there, just go ahead and scrub it out, get that excess oil out of there because we don't need it. Okay, there you go. Go ahead and set that off to the side. Okay, now for the frame, what we want to do is we want to disassemble and take apart the slide. Obviously, you want to take the barrel out and the guide rod, recoil spring. So just go ahead and pinch the spring from the back and just go ahead and pop it up. It's going to come right out. Now, this is not a captive guide rod spring combo, which means if you're not careful, this is just going to shoot right out of the back. So you got to be very careful with it, okay? It's not compressed as one piece. Got a little bit of oil on a patch. We'll just go ahead and wipe this off. You can pull out the guide rod if you want to. It's just a polymer guide rod, which really surprises me because this gun is all metal. But that's just how CZ rolls, and that's fine. Okay, go ahead and wipe that off. It is a very soft shooting handgun. I will say that. It's very, very light recoil. This recoil spring does a fantastic job. Okay, we'll set that off to the side. All right, now we'll go ahead and pull out the barrel, and we will go ahead and just wipe off the barrel, give it a general coat of oil all the way around. Can't talk today. There we go. And go ahead and just start scrubbing. Again, when your patch comes clean, then you are done. Okay, just go to work on it for a little bit. Make sure you wipe out the back where the feed ramps are, back here. Okay, this area does get very dirty. You might even want to scrub it down a little bit until you can see things like the feed ramp and stuff shine. There you go. If anything looks kind of frosted, that means it's covered up in carbon. And you can see the metal to metal contact points. You can see where the finish is starting to wear off. That definitely shows you the points where you're going to want to keep your lubrication, especially up on the top. And this portion of the barrel, you can see how it's already starting to get a little bit thin on the finish. A little bit of patina there, right? Looks awesome. Okay, now take a drop of oil on a Q-tip and go ahead and scrub out the inside of this lug here. Let's get that wiped out good. You're going to get a buildup in there too. Scrub across the top, above the feed ramps. There we go. And now what you want to do is go ahead and put a few drops of oil down the barrel. We're going to let that sit and marinate for a little while and just kind of soak up before we run the bore snake down the barrel. Set that off to the side. Okay, now the barrel is going to be a little bit narrow, so we're going to get as much as we can. A couple drops of oil on a patch and go ahead and just scrub out the inside of the slide. Sorry, I might have been saying barrel. I meant to say slide there. Go and wipe off the bottom of the rails. Wipe off what you can with your patch. Okay, also make sure that you get your finger in there. Make sure you wipe off the portion in front where your striker is going to come out. Get that wiped off. This inside portion right here really is going to get a buildup, this whole area. Make sure you get the rails wiped off on the outside. These little channels here on the outside of the slide. And you can see how dirty this is. We're going to grab a new patch here real quick. Again, you want just a light coating of lubricant when you get done. You don't want it dripping with oil, running off with oil. You just want it so that everything has a light coating on it. Enough to basically protect it from, again, humidity, moisture, dust, dirt, etc., especially if this is one of your daily carry firearms. How often should you clean it? I don't know. I guess if you don't ever shoot it, you could probably clean it off maybe once a month, once every couple months. Again, depends on the environment that you're operating in. It's pretty good. We're going to take the cleaning rod and we're going to scrub out the front of the barrel here, or the front portion of the dust cover in the slide. Okay, so go ahead and just scrub that out. Can't quite get my finger in there, so we're just going to get that a nice scrubbing. That's going to probably be a little bit dirty. There we go. Okay, set that off to the side. And now what you want to do with just a drop of oil on a Q-tip, go ahead and scrub out these channels back here towards the rear. Make sure they have a light coating of oil on them. Really get in there. There's a deeper channel towards the back here that you want to make sure that you catch too. Okay, wipe off the front, the insides. Again, you might have to do this a couple times to get it to come out completely clean. So when everything starts to come off clean, all of your cloths and Q-tips and stuff, you know that you are ready to go. Just a little tiny bit of oil towards the rear here. Again, just make sure that all those contact points have some lubrication on them. And last but not least, we want some oil to go down these rails. Okay, these channels here, I call them rails, I'm sorry. These channels that you have on the slide. So just give it one little zip of oil down the sides here. And you are good to go. Okay, go ahead and set that off to the side. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is go ahead and clean out the barrel. So we do have some oil that's in the barrel right now. We did put a drop of oil in front and in back of our bristles on our bore snake. If you've got a traditional cleaning brush at this point, you can run your cleaning brush and your cleaning rod from the rear to the front. Unscrew, pull the rod back again, put the bristle back to the front on your barrel. So I'm going to pull my bore snake through probably about 3 times, I suppose, to get it nice and clean. When the barrel's nice and shiny and you see no buildup in it, it doesn't look frosted or it doesn't look covered with anything. If you don't see any particles in the barrel, you know that the barrel's clean. Again, there's a lot of oil going on here, and we're going to get rid of a lot of this excess oil as we reassemble the firearm, okay? Pull it through and check that barrel. Okay, it's nice and shiny. Might not show up on the camera, but it is very, very clean. Okay, we'll go and set that off to the side. All right, now, so for reassembly, we want to make sure that we've got the plastic end facing the rear, the open end of the spring facing the front. Go ahead and drop your barrel back in. Make sure your barrel has a light coating of oil on it. Okay, drop the barrel back in. Okay, now go ahead and take your recoil spring and your cleaning rod. It's going to go in this top channel right here, just like that. When you push it in and push it down, it's going to lock into this little divot right here. There's a cutout at the front, or I guess you could say the back of the barrel that it's going to set in. So we're going to go ahead and push that back into place. There we go. In fact, there's a little tiny like hump in the back of the flat spot of the recoil spring that's going to lock into place in the divot, the cutout that you have right here in front of the lug of the barrel in the slide. Okay, so you're all set to go. If it looks like this, you are all set. If it's flat, you're ready to go. Okay, and now go ahead and put the slide into the frame. A lot of times we say on top, but it's going to go in, right? Because this 75 pattern pistol runs this way. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have to squeeze back again so that these two lines are lined up, and then we're going to have to push our takedown pin back into place to hold the slide back into place. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull back a little bit until it's aligned. There we go. I can see I've got basically a clear hole right here to push my pin through. Push my pin into place. Okay, pop that back into place and we are good to go. You might have to pull back on the slide or give it a little bit more towards the front and it'll pop back in and you are all set. Okay, so we'll go ahead and cycle it a couple times here. All right, so we'll go ahead and cycle it just a couple times to make sure it does run. I had to take my gloves off to do that because it's so slick. Okay, it's nice and smooth. Dry fired a couple times. There we go. Now with just a drop of oil on a patch, we'll go ahead and wipe it off at this point. And that is basically all it takes. So guys, that is my cleaning of the CZ SP01 tactical model. Okay, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions about anything that we did in this video, make sure that you let me know. Otherwise, you guys can check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, guntube.org. We're also over on Gunstreamer too, in case I didn't mention that, and also UGEtube. We also have a little podcast that we do on Saturday mornings called Caliber Corner. That is at 8 a.m. Central Time over there on YouTube, and make sure you check it out. We talk guns and ammo. But in the meantime, I want you guys to have fun. I want you to be safe, and as you know, we will talk to you soon. All right, guys, take care and be good. Bye-bye.